Hello dear colleagues, as a matter of fact most of surgical guides failures happen because of wrong sleeve offset, weak guide design and bad model preparation. In this video you will know how to do all of this stuff properly. My name is Nikita, I'm a dental surgeon with an experience more than 1000 clinical cases using surgical guides. Please take a look at the comments below the video, take a look at the description of the video because you may find something interesting there for you. Hello again, dear doctors, dear colleagues, and welcome back to our channel. And we continue making our surgical guide, and at the previous lessons we have actually discussed the alignment, we have placed the implant, we had briefly discussed the main rules of placement of the implant in the bone, but we have faced with some kind of a problem here that is actually a sleeve. If you pay attention right now on your screen, you can see that this sleeve has collisions with the anatomy scan. That means that this sleeve actually does touch the anatomy scan. Therefore, program software RealGUIDE informs us about this mistake, that we have anatomy collision, because if I increase the distance between the sleeve and the anatomy, this collision disappears. But it's actually a quite common problem, and now we're gonna talk about this problem, and also we are going to discuss how this problem can be properly solved. Firstly, let's discuss what can we do in such cases. My strong recommendation, please do not skip this problem, because it would actually spoil your future work. As a matter of fact, when our guide will be created, a RealGUIDE software make a small gap between the anatomy scan, between the sleeve and the body of the guide, let's say. So if you leave it as it is right now, the border of the guide will be somewhere here, and it will bring about two problems. Firstly, the sleeve will be not properly inserted in the guide. I mean, it will not be perfectly fixed with the guide, and it has chances to fly away while drilling, because it is assumed that this sleeve is actually fixed to the guide with the resin. And since this area of the sleeve will be not covered with the guide, so there will be no contact between the sleeve and the resin and the guide, so it will not be properly fixed. That's the first thing. The second thing is that since we will have the border of the guide in this area, it's actually quite let's say dangerous for the guide itself, because dental surgeon, while drilling this hole for implant, will be pushing on the guide in this area, and since this area will be slim, kind of slim, because if we measure the distance here, it will be for about, no, it's too long, sorry, let's do it in another way. Clear all measurements. Here, let me just show you not to cut. I think now let me just change layout. Yeah, because I'm afraid I'm covering with myself the sleeve. So the distance here will be some kinds of 3 millimeters. So as I have said, there will be a small gap between the guide and between the anatomy scan, and the whole guide in this area will be less than 3 millimeters. The layer of the resin will be less than 3 millimeters, and therefore there is a high probability of guide breakage here, because dentists, doctors, dental surgeons are pushing with their tool up to the down to the sleeve, and therefore this area must be well protected, must be well printed, and must be not so slim as it is. Therefore, it's just my strong recommendation to deal with the problem and to find some solutions of how to do it. Actually, there are two options of how to avoid this current collision, and I will show you the simplest one. So before we proceed with our work in RealGUIDE, just let me remind you about the sleeve. The sleeve for guided surgery kit we have chosen is RealGUIDE. That means that during the operation we will use RealGUIDE kit. Here is the kit at your screen, and please pay attention that there are some different different length of the drills. So 8.5 millimeters, 10 millimeters, 11.5, 13 millimeters, 16 millimeters. And there are different diameters: 2.3, 3.0, 3.4, 3.8, 4.2. And the main idea is that in the RealGUIDE we have an opportunity to increase the distance between the sleeve and between the implant. Normally, when we choose the sleeve for the implant, when we choose the sleeve for each implant, there is a standard distance which is related to the kit. In RealGUIDE, that's 5 millimeters. I will show you how it works. Now, don't be don't worry. And also, I will show you how should we increase the distance between the sleeve and the implant. Moreover, what I would like to say, please, you can save this screenshot, you can save this picture with actually sizes of the drill, because we will need to use them for the further steps. And now let's get back to RealGUIDE software. So, as I have already told you, there is a standard distance between the bottom of the sleeve and the top of the implant, and for RealGUIDE it's 5 millimeters. That means that since we have 8.5 millimeters implant, we should here use the 8.5 millimeter drill, because the distance is standard. So it's already actually planned by drills manufacturer, by RealGUIDE manufacturer. This distance must be 5 millimeters. So in order to avoid this collision, we have to increase somehow this distance between the top of the implant and the bottom of the sleeve. And by the way, this distance is called offset. Okay, but please pay attention that we actually, let me just make it more transparent to see. The amount of millimeters we are adding to this standard offset is not random, because for example, if I just press here like, I don't know, 6.7 or something like that, yeah, collision is gone. But I will not just actually find the proper drill to drill this hole perfectly. because the distance of, let's say, because the distance between the sleeve and between the implant is random right now. But what I would like to do and what I have to do is actually take a look at RealGUIDE kit again and see what we have here. The logic is quite simple. Since we have 8.5 millimeters implant and 8.5 millimeters drill, and I have such a collision, I ask myself, can I use 8.5 millimeters drill? And the answer is no, because we have a collision. The second length of the drill in RealGUIDE kit is 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters is 1.5 millimeters longer than the previous one. That's why we have to add this difference to this 5 millimeters standard offset. Therefore, I just add 1.5 plus 5 millimeters is 6.5 millimeters, and the collision is gone. That means that in order to drill 8.5 millimeters implant, I will use 10 millimeters drill, because I increased the distance between the implant and between the sleeve, and because of that I have to take a longer drill just to compensate the distance I have increased. I think it's okay. I think it's quite easy to understand. And if you would like to play with your project, with different project, you can use the photo you have seen some several minutes ago in this video, just to train yourself, just to actually determine needed implant, sorry, not implant, needed drill length, because the main thing you should get from this video, from this current information, is that this distance between sleeve and between the implant should not be random. It's related to your guided surgery kit. Okay, so now since this collision has gone, we can just proceed making our surgical guide. So in order to make the surgical guide, please enter this step, which is called guide design. And here I will give you some tips for you, because it's an extremely important step in the program, and most of failures during the guided surgery operation occurs because of the lack of knowledge of this step. Firstly, we have to set the direction, the certain direction from the guide, and the main idea just to actually maximize the contact, maximize the surface contact with our future guide. That means that if you take a look at what we have, we see a lot of red, yellow, purple color here. That means there will be no contact between your teeth and between your guide. But our goal is to maximize this contact, because it's quite simple. We just think about physics and realize that the more contact will be, the more stability and the more retention we'll get in the end. So that's what we need. Okay, and since we have a simple guide, we will have a simple guide with only one sleeve here. This is actually quite difficult to put any additional pins here. Therefore, that means that when we make a guide, we will just press it on the teeth, because it will be teeth supported, and we have to make a guide in such a way that while pressing it, it will not play on the teeth and it will not go anywhere. It will be fixed very, very strongly, and therefore everything begins from this step. So in this step, I would like you to know that, yeah, firstly, you have to maximize your contact with the with guide and with the teeth. So we press generate undercut, and what we should do next. Actually, when I teach my students of making these guides, I also always tell them about some mistakes while scanning and while making a plaster model and the scans of it. And I also tell them about some dangerous areas which can you face with. For example, these holes cannot be properly scanned. We have some strange erosions, maybe that was some kind of restoration and so on. And if you see such areas, especially on scans of plaster model and so on, please take a plus here just to slightly add some volume here, because if there will be some volume in the reality and there is no some volume in the your virtual scan, the guide while making it will actually cover all of the surface, and therefore your guide, if it's not be properly done, can actually have a balance during the operation. And then also, if you see during the operation that your guide is balancing, is bouncing, most probably 99% that there is a problem with the scans, or there is a problem with the plaster model and so on. So therefore, if you see such dangerous areas, just slightly add some volume. It will not actually spoil the fitting of the guide itself, but it will just make, you know, some kind of a safety zone for the perfect guide fitness. What I would like you to know here as well is just most common mistake is to add a lot of volume here. It's not the way how it should done. It's a mistake. So please never do it like so. If you saw some kinds of dangerous areas, just slightly press 1-2 clicks, nothing more, just to add some extra space. Okay, so we press next step, and now we have to define the borders of the guide. Usually I make them I make these borders like in the area of the crowns of the teeth. Yeah, it's quite a good idea to visualize the sleeve. So I use crowns here and from the lingual part as well. Why do I do so? Because actually when the guide is covered from all of the sides of the teeth, it's much more stable. Believe me, it's much more stable rather than making guide from only on occlusal part. Because as I have said, doctor during the operation or his or her assistant just pressing this guide, and we are all humans, and you can just slightly move your hand during the operation and the guide will just drop out or change its position. So in order to protect the guide, in order to set the insert fitting of the guide, just make the border as much longer as we can, and usually we use border of the crowns in order to make the borders of the guide. So we press create guide, and also, yeah, you could pay attention at the RealGUIDE settings of the guide. Please do not make them, please do not change them. They are perfectly set. Now let's hide the undercut model by pressing U, and it can seem that guide is actually ready for printing, but this is not. We use actually three we make three actions before we print the guide. Now, firstly, we smooth everything unnecessary, because this stuff is absolutely unnecessary and it's just not so useful during the operation. Secondly, we have to add some volume here to strengthen the guide, to make it more solid, to not let it break during the operation. And as far as you can remember, I told you that this is the most important area of the guide, because the doctor will just push it on the sleeve, and therefore we have to add some volume here. But please do not make a mistake that you will make some kind of a border here. This is the mistake. This is, you should not do it like so. Never do it like so, because yeah, the guide will be printed, you will insert the sleeve there, but when you will try to drill actually the you will try to drill the bone socket inside the bone, you'll realize that your tool, your surgical tool, is just being stopped by this border of this guide. Because so therefore avoid this situation, and we always add some volume only here, not here, not here, but only from the sides of the guide. So the second thing we have done. And the third thing, since we have a teeth supported guide, always put control windows. They are being installed in various ways, but I will just show you how we do it. We just see and we have to find the area between two teeth. For example, here I see this is the most probably area between two teeth, and I press round window. I set up the window size for about from 7 to 8 millimeters. I mean window size, and I actually place this window projection between two teeth. I press left mouse, and here is the window. And here you can see some kinds of M button, not M button, M shape of the window. It's quite informative, because actually you do not need to use some types of mirrors, or bend your neck like this during the operation. You just take a closer look, you press the guide, take a closer look of this shape, M shape. So since you have seen this M shape during the operation, you see the vestibular part, occlusal part, lingual part of the teeth, everything's okay. So you can quickly estimate the fitting of the guide on the teeth, and so therefore we love this type of windows. And also, if you're a paranoid person, you can just add some volume here, not to let the guide break here, but actually you don't need to. And also you can press text here. Here is the button which is called text options. So you can engrave your name of the patient here. So if you press engraved off and your lessons are shown with green color, that means that actually your this surname, this name of the patient, will be above the guide. And if I press engrave on, and this surname is pointed with red color, that means that they will be engraved. They will be just inside the guide. So I press lesson 1, we press next step, and now by pressing export guide for milling, we can export our first guide to the 3D printer and provide a beautiful operations. Many thanks for watching, dear doctors. This is the end of this lesson. Please subscribe to this channel, put your like, and see a lot of interesting information which can be actually useful for you in the comments below the video. See you in the next lesson. Nikita was again with you. Bye bye, take care, and see you in the next videos.